should have been trying to convince. Instead, I was trying to convince Jag and Matt. At the time, I was like, when Corey told me, because Corey is actually the person who told me that the votes may have been flipping. And when he told me that, I was like, the votes are only flipping if you're flipping them, because Mama Fee just went on a tangent and got into an argument with you and America. So if anybody is considering flipping the vote, it's because you are okay with her staring, because obviously you know she's going after. In my mind, this is what I'm thinking. I'm like, if the votes are possibly flipping, it's you and America who are planning to flip them, because everybody else just saw y'all get into a big argument with her and seen her argue with y'all. So they just already assume that y'all are going to vote to evict them. And I don't think they're willing to die on that hill. So if the votes are flipping, it's because y'all are once he said it to me, that's the immediate thing that's the immediate thing that I thought. But in knowing and thinking that, that's why I was trying to get Jag and Matt to flip with Mama Fee and Blue. I was like, well, if these two are like considering it and they're willing to keep Mama Fee after she's got into a big blow up argument with him in the kitchen and called him out during the ceremony, if they're willing to do that, then let me try to go and convince Jag and Matt, not knowing that Jag and Matt had already kind of been there. They just needed Corey to kind of, they planted the seed. They just needed Corey to kind of come water it and, you know, say that he was okay with it. Because I don't think that it would have happened if Corey and America would have been against it. I don't think that Jag and Matt would have tried to flip the vote, even if they thought that I was the one that should have left. I don't think that they would have actually tried to do it. I think that when Corey and America said that they were on board with it, then it was like oh great, we were already thinking that. So now that y'all are on board, let's do it. So that's why. Said all that to say, that's why I was going to Jag and Matt to campaign harder than I was going to Corey and America, when it should have been opposite. And obviously hindsight is 2020, and I know that now, but in the moment, yeah. Yes. So if I could go back and do anything, I would do that. If I can go back and do anything, that's probably one of the biggest things that I regret, as opposed to campaigning to, and I did campaign to Korea and America throughout the week. But I campaigned harder, I think, on Wednesday I focused like solely on Jag and Matt, because I was like, Sari and Blue are gonna be, and this is right after the argument, and you know, Miss Sari's name was brought up, so she was like a little bit annoyed about that. So I was like, she'll be like on board with like keeping me, and Blue was on board, and I was like, if I could get Jag and Matt, and that's why I did the angle of I'm going after Corey and America, which wasn't true. I wasn't actually gonna go after Corey and America if I won HOH, and obviously I think they knew that, right? Like I think they knew that if I won HOH that I would have gone after. They know enough about my style at this point to know that, like, Mimi ain't like a, you know, if it's a shot to be taken, I would be. I think that they knew that enough. So it was a good move for everybody in the house. I mean, it was a bad move for everybody in the house besides Jag and Matt. Me being evicted, I think, only helped Jag and Matt's game. I don't know if it necessarily helped anybody else. I mean, but now we're Final Five, so to the Final Five, maybe it doesn't matter at all. But yeah, okay, I'm checking the question box now. It's so many freaking questions. You weren't crying. You made up hilarious songs. Oh my God, did y'all like the song? Which one? What was your favorite song that we made up? Can you give advice on how to get on the show? I was an applicant. I applied. I submitted an audition tape, and by the grace of God, I got a call back. What was the biggest shock after learning about Jared and Sari? The shock was that they were mother and son. That was the biggest shock. Have you watched any episodes? No, I have not. I haven't even seen my eviction episode. I don't want to watch it yet. I don't know. It feels weird to watch it. It feels so weird to watch it yet. So weird to watch the episode. My eviction, I can't watch it yet. 11:06. Hey, it's 11:06. Hey, this is so bullshit. Funny. Did you have a bestie in the house? My best friend and maid of honor is asking that question. Did I have a bestie in the house? Oh, it's hard to say if I had like a bestie. I don't know if I really had a true bestie. I don't know if I had like a true like bestie. I think other people had besties. I don't know if I had like a true like bestie from like beginning to the end. I don't know if I had a true bestie. Oh yeah, we made up hella songs. We made up so many songs. It's 1106, which is the song that we made up. I think it was the first week that the Have Nots got off of Slop. We made up It's 1106, which was so stupid because Jared just came outside. Just came outside in the backyard and was like, it's 1106. And we were like, it's still crazy. They thought you were funny. Who thought I was funny? Because y'all was saying that I was quiet. The people said I was I quiet or was I funny? Do you think the mamas would be cool with each other after the show? I hope so. I hope the mamas have a good laugh and kiki after this whole thing is over and laugh about how stupid this was. Like how stupid and bizarre. Jag thought I was funny. Jag used to be talking trash. She'd be like, you a cartoon character. I used to be like, Jag, you cannot. I don't know what y'all call it, like joning, roasting, whatever it is. Like it's Mama Figure also re-nerves battle. On the feeds, you were funnier. I think I'm pretty funny, okay? Let's see. Why didn't Bowie Jane put up Matt and Jag? Oh, no, I really thought that she was going to put up Matt and Jag today. Let's see. Who is the cleanest in the house? Probably Cam. Cam is probably the cleanest person in the house. Who besides yourself do you think should have won this season, including the evicted house guests? Well, won this season, I'm gonna go with me. Me. I'm going me. I'm going me. Do you agree with the Jag and Matt hate train? Hate train because they're winning? I don't know if it's a hate train, but I think they're targets. If that's what you're talking about, I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Have you watched Mama Fee grind her toenails on Cerise's bed? No, I have not. And honestly, I don't know, and I simply don't want to know. Corey always said that he was your bestie. Corey was like my little brother. Corey was like my annoying little brother. Honestly, I talked to him a lot, though. And I talked to Corey a lot in the house. I'm not going to lie. I did talk to Corey a lot in the house. Would you change anything about your experience? I don't think I would change anything. I mean, obviously, I would win. I would hope to win and like had made it further in the game. I was there for 65 days and I placed 10th, which is like, but yeah, I think there are a lot of things that I would do differently, probably starting from week one. I said it earlier, but I think being an only child for me. I mean, now knowing what I know, I think I can navigate the game a lot differently. But going into the house, I think that being an only child, it impacted me more than I thought that it would. And being in a game like this where you really need people, I guess I just spent my whole life navigating from a space where I didn't really ever need it. I mean, outside of my husband, where I never really needed anybody. I could always depend on me. And you can't play this game in that way. So that impacted me more than I thought that I would. Because I've spent 30 years of my life being an only child and being very independent and self-sufficient. So that it's hard to like change that just because you're in the house playing, you know. And I work, obviously I'm an adult and I go to work and I'm working in group settings all the time. So I know how to work amongst a team and be a team player. But this is very different. Like this is not like going into a ready-made team. Like you go in and you make your own team and you make sub teams. Like this is a whole different thing. Did y'all find those robes as annoying as we do? I know it's cold, but wear a jacket. I'm screaming. Are you talking about the gray robes? It's funny because they got those robes after Cockadoodle Zoom because they had to like get, I don't know, they were filled with so much goo and had so much stuff on. They have to get like wet. They have to wet them and get them cleaned up or whatever. Cam mentioned you were our only child alive. Did it really? What did he say? What did he say about that? He never really mentioned it to me. A girl that live feeds every 5 seconds. Corey was talking about how much he loved you. I'm telling you, Corey was like my annoying little. Your eviction was literally just because you didn't leak everything like Mama Feed. Yeah, part of that strategy is you don't leak everything. So, how I wanted that to be portrayed and how I wanted it to come across was that I was a trustworthy ally and I was somebody that you could depend on in this game, especially in a season like this where everybody was telling everything. And I've seen dozens of seasons of Big Brother. Everybody was feeling everything in this house. So what I wanted to come across and wanted to portray was that I was a trustworthy ally, and I wasn't somebody, outside of everybody else. I was not somebody who was gonna, run around and say everything. Like, I could keep some things to myself. He said you were a player and that you play for yourself. Oh, well, that's true. You have to have some type of loyalty. Yes, but I think to my detriment, right, and not linking anything is also like leaves people in a gray space. And when I say leaves people, I think really who probably felt most in a gray space was probably like Jag and Matt, where they didn't know where I was game wise. I think it's probably, especially like I'm talking about the week that Jag, Matt, and Cameron. I think those three probably knew the least about where they think that what they thought I would have done, and obviously it would have been those three. And let me not say that they didn't know; they just hadn't heard me say anything else, so they assumed that it was them, and they were correct. Were you truly unbothered when Sari accidentally revealed the different alliances she was into you in the bathroom? I wasn't unbothered, but I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. She was just like, yeah, the alliance with me, you, Jag, Blue. I was like, I'm not in an alliance with Jag. I'm not in a line. Like toilets, okay? And on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank this season? I can't rank the season yet. The season ain't over yet. We still got a long way to go. They didn't know where you stood. Jag kept asking me where I stood. You know what's crazy? I had so many conversations with Jag about, like, we had literally like 10 conversations. The first week that he was on the block with Blue is when they started. And I enjoyed y'all do glam, and now no more. All the glam girls. I had like 10 conversations with Jag about, and we were always like, we're gonna work together, like, we good, like, we're good. We kept having, I'm like, Jag, I'm not targeting you. Like, I'm not targeting. I never told him who I was targeting, but I was like, I'm not targeting you. Like, you're good with me. And for a minute there, I wasn't. I really wasn't. And I was just like, and then when we started to break ground after the Izzy and Mama Fee week, we started to break ground. That's when everybody was like, oh, it has to be Jared and Sari. Now, to be honest with y'all, I actually was not going to put Jared and Miss Sari on the block had I won that week. I was just going along with them and being like, oh, yeah. Oh, do. I actually wasn't going to do that. I really wasn't. I actually wasn't. I was just saying that to be saying it, but I wasn't actually going to do that. So that happened. Then Jared gets eliminated. We do the, and it's just like, it fell up. I remember us sitting in the backyard. It was me, it was me, Corey America, Jag, Matt, and Bowie, all 6 of us. And we were like tossing around alliance names. And so I was like, okay, like, this is going to be the shift. This is the shift that I needed. And I was like, I was really going to ride with that. I was like, okay, I need to pivot from everything that was like the first half of the game. And so I was cool with that. And then it was like, what happened? Corey won the HOH. Corey got sussed out. And I know that they weren't playing for me, but also at that time, I didn't feel like I needed to target them. I felt like they were bigger threats. But so I don't think Corey got sussed out because I chose him over Blue in the Soulmates. He got sussed out about that. And then Bowie came and said like, oh, Mimi and Sari and Felicia were trying to flip the vote and keep Jared. And so I think from there she went, and I'm assuming, I don't know, but if I could guess, I think that she went to me, but I also think she probably went to go say that to Jag and Matt. She said her saying oh, I was going to flip the vote is what broke down us actually like moving forward with that alliance. Because I swear I was like, oh, I'm good with this alliance, but in my mind I just started, because I remember even that night after the double, I remember why did I choose Corey instead of Blue in Soulmates? I chose Corey instead of Blue in Soulmates because I wanted to extend the olive branch to Blue, and because I hadn't won anything, that was like how I could show that. Because I didn't pick her to play in the veto until like weeks later, or a week or two later, right? So that was me trying to extend an olive branch to her, and I was like, I'll be able to smooth this over with Corey, and obviously I wasn't able to. That was a mistake that I made, but in my mind I was like, I'm good with, like, I should be able to, not good with him, like good, but like me and him have so many conversations and we can be very open with each other. So I think I should be able to smooth this over, and obviously I wasn't able to. But I think that moment, me picking Corey and Soulmates, and then Bowie vote with Mama Fee and Sari is what broke down that little alliance that we were supposed to have. But I really was planning to rock with that alliance. And so once I was on the block, I was thinking, I was laying in bed because I literally couldn't, the whole week that I was on the block, I literally could not sleep. Like I probably got like 10 hours of sleep the whole week. Literally, I was getting like 2 hours of sleep a night. I could not. I was a wreck. Like, and not even like bawling tears. I was so nervous. I was a wreck. I was a mess. I was a mess on the block that whole week because I was thinking through every single thing. I was like, how did I get here? I was thinking through I literally probably got 10 hours of sleep that whole week. From being nominated on Friday up until Thursday, I didn't sleep at all. I literally couldn't sleep. It was crazy. Like, my nerves were bad. I was like your nerves are bad. Because you don't want to go home. You don't want $750,000. I don't want to go home. I want to win. How do you feel about everyone in the house in retrospect? Any major opinion shifts since leaving? I think in the house, I was probably talking a lot of trash just because, like, not a lot of trash, but I'm like, oh, everybody is so irritating, they get on my nerves. I was saying that a lot because honestly, when you're in the house, everybody is irritating. They do all get on your nerves. I don't know about y'all, but I've never lived with, I've told you I was the only child. I'm used to, and I was raised by a single mother. It was me and my mom in the house. I wake up in the morning, it's me and my mom. My mom knows that I'm not a morning person. Like, we have a system that worked for us. And I lived with my mom for 17 long years. Then in college, I just had one roommate, which is my best friend, who is in this chat. And then my husband is the only man that I've ever lived with. So I have not, like, been like a whole lot of roommates. I haven't lived in a situation like that. The time was like, they would get annoying. I was an only child and I had one roommate in college, and then my husband is the only man that I've lived with. So I haven't lived with that many people in my life. So they were irritating sometimes. Like, some days you're just like irritated, and not with anybody or anything in particular. It's just like, why are there so many people? So irritating. But honestly, I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I loved everybody in the house. Like, an amazing cast of people, like an amazing group of people. Everybody was so, like, fun. This was some of the best times that I ever had in my life, being in this house and just being able to be silly and goofy and stupid and competitive with these people. Like, honestly, I had such a great time. And the game kind of shapes, when you're in the game, it shapes the relationships that you have and the type of relationship that you have with people. But I really am looking forward to being on the other side of this and just being like post game chill and you know what I mean. I'm really looking forward to being in that space with everybody, because when you're in a game, like I said, everything behind your back or who said your name and who, it's all of that. But once you get out in the real world, in the grand scheme of things, it's not, it really ain't that deep. So I'm like, when I was evicted on day 65, I left everything there. Like, I left everything there. I'm not going to be, you know, at finale mad or not talking to somebody about something they said about me on day 12 or on day 17 or on day 45. This person said that they should put me on the block, so now I'm mad about that. Like, I literally had said that everybody should go on the block too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there isn't one person who I was like, oh, this person, everybody, if it wasn't me, you know what, I wanted to win. So I can't be mad about somebody saying my name or wanting me to get evicted in a game where only one person can win. Like, when I was evicted, I left all of that in the house, so I don't have any reason to, like, have any ill will or disregard toward anybody. It's just not that deep. We went and we played a game. A lot of us lost. One person will win, and then we go back to our lives. Like, what does it serve me? I need to be putting energy into, like, my husband, and I don't need to be putting energy into being mad about something that happened in a game that only one person can win. Like, you know. So that's my, and I can only speak for myself, obviously, but that's just my mindset. Like, that's where I am. I'm like, it would be silly for me to have a you know, bad feelings or ill will. And even Corey, and I know I gave Corey the little hand in the, you know, I know I had that moment. And like I said, in the moment, you're pissed. You don't want to be evicted. It's life or death. Like, oh my God, how could you flip the vote on me? Why would you do that? That doesn't mean that I wasn't complicit in flipping the, you know what I mean? Like, when the vote was, I tried to flip the vote on, I've done these things also. So I can't be that mad. Like, I can't be that mad. I have to, it was a game. I got. Other people have been evicted before me. They got. It just is what it is. How often do you travel back to St. Louis? I'm in St. Louis like a couple times a year. Literally, my whole entire family is there. My mom, my dad, my grandmother, literally aunts, uncles, every single person just about in my family lives a couple times a year. But yeah, I think you have to kind of leave with some sort of, like, understanding. And obviously I've had 3 weeks to kind of reflect on all of these things, but that's the space that I'm in. I don't know if everybody is in that space. I can't speak for everybody, but that's where I am. It doesn't serve me to be upset about anything. How does my mom feel about this season? My mom says she cried every single episode. I told you I'm an only child. I am legitimately an only child. Like, my mom is obsessed with me. I talk to my mom on the phone every single day. Obviously, besides when I was here in the house, I talk to my mom every single day. I talk to my mom every single freaking day. So my mom cried. My mom was like, I was crying every episode. Oh my God, I was crying. My mom was crying. I mean, my mom and my husband are obviously my biggest fans. Like, my husband set up the same setup I have now. I have my the tripod and then these two cameras, or these two ring lights or whatever. For my husband did this setup for me to do my audition tape. My husband did this exact same setup. He was the one that, like, because after so many seasons of watching the show, last season was actually the only season that he watched with me. And at the end of the season, he was like, babe, you should apply. Like, you can fucking do it. Like, you can win that shit. Like, you should do it. And I was like, you think? He was like, no, you should fucking apply. And I'm like, you think so? And he was like, yes. And I remember it was like a Saturday. He came upstairs. I was upstairs laying in the bed eating cereal, and he came and he was like, what you doing today? And I was like, nothing. He was like, well, I'm gonna go set up your ring lights and your tripods. I want you to get dressed, do your hair and makeup, and I want you to do the audition tape. And I was like, audition tape? And he was like, for Big Brother. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, I'm about to go set up the audition tape. Me and Gizmo gonna leave the house. I want you to, and I've told this story on the live feed, so y'all probably have heard this. But yeah, my husband, so I was like, okay. And I got up, I went to go, and my husband and Gizmo left. They went on like a 3-mile walk, and I recorded. It probably took me like 15 or 20 minutes. I did it in like 2 takes. I did one good take. What I submitted was the first take. Do it again, yeah, that's how that happened. That's how I applied. My husband set up the tripod and the ring lights, and left the house. And he was like, we're going to leave because we want you to be like, so my husband had seen it. Obviously, he's seen the audition tape. But he was like, just say whatever. Like, I don't care what you say. Just say whatever you need to, like, say to, like, get on. Like, you, da-da-da-da. And, yeah, so my husband set up the tripod and the ring light and all of that for me to do the audition tape. And I did it in, like, one take. And then I was like, let me do another take. Let me do another take for, like, safety, just in case I don't like this. But what I ended up submitting was the first one that I did. And I did it all the way through. I did it all the way through. I just started talking. I was like, what am I about to say? And I remember thinking, like fuck it. Just, you know, like, sometimes you just start talking, and it was like, and when I watched the tape back, I swear when I saw it, I was like, oh, this the one. This is the one. I swear. I edited it up and I added some little photos and, like, judged it up and da-da-da. I was like, oh, this is the one. This, and that was the one. That was the freaking one. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yes, husband knew. He was like, I promise you, babe, you can. He was like, this game is made for you. Like, your whole life, every single thing that you've done, he was on it. Like, if it weren't for him, I would have procrastinated. I used to be so busy at work. Like, I never had a moment besides, like, coming home and being off work, that I had, like, a work phone. Like, I was always working. I never had, like, a moment for myself. I probably would have procrastinated. I would have procrastinated if it weren't for him. You talked a lot about your hubby. He's so supportive. Yes, I talked a lot about my husband in the house. I love my man. Girl, what did your mom and husband think of the hand moment? My mom laughed. My mom cracked up because my mom was the first person that I called when I got my phone, or my husband first, and then my mom. So mom was the second person I called. My husband didn't mention anything about the hand thing when I talked to him. He was just like, oh, I miss you, you know, whatever. But when I talked to my mom was like, girl, when you did that hand, I was like, that's my baby. I was like, you should have been on their ass. She was like, they think my daughter ain't about that life. Y'all know you about. My mom is so funny. She is so funny. I was cracking up laughing. She was like, they think my daughter ain't about that life. I was like, don't take her there. Don't take my baby there. My mama is so funny. That's literally the first thing she said when I got on the phone. She was like, girl, that hand. Girl, I was like, that's my baby. They think she ain't about that life. My baby about that life. So pissed in the moment. I didn't even think about the hand. I was just like, don't. I was so pissed that I was pissed. I was so pissed in that moment. What did your mom and husband say about your storage room rent? My aunt, actually, who is my birthday twin, we have the same birthday, and ironically enough, my aunt named her youngest daughter after my mom. We have a very close-knit family, if you can't tell. But anyways, my aunt, when I talked to my aunt on the phone, she was like, the rants. Oh my, she was like, you kicking the trash can, the rants. Because it's, again, when you don't know what is being shown in the episodes. You literally are just in there living. Like, you are literally in there living. So you don't know what is going to make the episode. You're not walking around the house like, this is going to make the episode. Like, I was just living and competing and doing whatever. So I don't know what's going to make the episode. It's hard to say that. You just living and competing, and you don't know what's going to be on there until you get out. So my aunt was actually the first person that told me that the rants, like, that's how I knew that the rants had made the episode. Because my mom was like, oh my God, girl, those rants, you said something about if your booty stank. And I was cracking. I was like, honestly, now being on the other side, I don't know what I was saying in those rants. I just used to be talking to myself like, let me get this out before I explode. Like, I don't really know what I used to be saying. So my aunt was like, oh, you said this and you said, I was like, oh girl, I don't know what I was saying in those rants. I was just talking. Getting you out was the worst move America and Corey made. I agree. I had the best reads in the house. You're right, because I did show you a lot of episodes where we enjoyed you dating on the feeds. Oh, I'm glad y'all enjoy me on the feeds. I hope that y'all laugh because I am super silly and goofy, and I love laughing and being silly, which is why I was so excited to like play the. I love being goofy and silly, and my job is so like intense and like buttoned up and like conservative. You know what I mean? Like I don't get to do at work. I don't get to be like super silly and goofy. I have to be